According to this computer, recording is go. All right, so now we're going to look at the cut or the parry of 6, which is primarily, like, it's a big, really important parry in like foil and epee. It's not so common in sabre, but it is kind of cool and useful nonetheless. And you notice there's kind of a theme here. I'm like, okay, this is not the primary parry you use, but it still has its application. I used to have a student who basically decided the best way to fight was just to use or was to be as unconventional as possible within the bounds of a functional system. And so what he did was anytime I said, okay, this is not a primary parry at all and is not good against direct attacks, he'd start trying to use them against direct attacks. So the parry of 6, what I do is I turn my palm over so my palm is facing up and my finger is facing up as well. I bring my hand all the way so that probably my fingers really are in line with my shoulder. And my sword is basically creating a lock. My sword stays not quite horizontal, but still about as horizontal, a bit more horizontal than would be in a medium guard. So medium guard, 6. And just sits on the outside. And you are kind of relying on having a back end of your shell to stop the opponent's sword. So what you're doing with this one, it's a bit hard to see when you don't actually have an opponent, is you're scooping out your opponent's sword and then pulling it down so that it's next to your shoulder, so you can then throw a very quick riposte, having very strong control of your opponent's sword. Sometimes I actually like to do this with a bit of a disengage. So if I'm doing it not reactively, if I'm doing something like, oh, I want to set something up with it, I often do a little bit of a disengage, just draw a little circle with my tip that helps me scoop anything up. This parry relies very, very heavily on the idea that if you create a plane for your opponent's sword to go down, it will be redirected there. So this is primary, but this is a parry that parries the high outside. So motion, little disengage, and then scoop it. So palm up in line with the outside shoulder. Hopefully this is giving you a nice shoulder stretch. In fact, if you're finding that you can't get your hand over enough, try pulling your shoulder blades together as you do the parry. So shoulder blades together. So disengage and palm up and parry 6. Palm up, parry 6. So very, very subtle parry. I find I know 2 times when I use this. One is when I want to guide my opponent's sword to a very predictable place. And I know I can scoop them up and get them there and throw a quick riposte. Actually, the other time I use this is I might have caught my opponent with like a prime or a different parry, and I moved to 6 before riposting, basically to confuse them to where the sword is in space and create an opening. The primary time I use this is if my opponent's faded me, I've gone for a nice cart parry, I see the sword's coming to disengaged around my tip, I just whip it straight over. And the fact that I've done this cart parry, which my opponent now needs to get around, means their sword's going to have to be somewhere in this area, which is what gets scooped up with my parry. So let's just try that a few times. So 6, guard 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 6, guard. This drill and practice gets a bit not safe for work if you have a New Zealand accent. Just people want anyone who wants to copy my lesson plan and is from New Zealand and isn't just like sharing this video, is actually like reenacting it, but possibly with better sound, which, yeah, I do know the sound is a bit dodgy, but I'm not really able to fix it until I get a new microphone, which will hopefully be soon. All right, so let's look at riposts. So from here, the most intuitive riposte is just a thrust. I basically bring my hand to this position. As thrust, I often thrust keeping my hand in. But since we're not done thrusts, what I want to do, what I'm going to do instead is we're going to do a big cut number 2. We're going to whirl the sword around the head. Please don't hit yourself in the head. And throw cut number 2, because I find getting your opponent's sword to here and then rotating with their sword as the point of rotation is a really, really good, really good way to control and displace their blade. Because to move away from your hilt, which is what they basically have to move the sword even further away from you, which is, or to get away from your hilt in a way that might endanger you. They have to move your sword further away from you, which gives you a bigger opening. So your opponent's only real reaction is to usually do a very oh shit, George Parry, just to together. So motion, parry 6, whirl the sword around the head, and cut 2. Parry 6, whirl the sword around the head, and cut 2. Remember, keep your hand in roughly the same place when you're doing this. Because if you bring your hand in across your body, you'll lose control of your opponent's sword. So parry 6, cut 2. 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 6, cut 2. 6, cut 2. 6, cut 2. And 6, cut 2. Right. So that's the parry of 6 and the riposte front. So does anyone have any questions? I should probably just ramble a bit about random crap to give you time to type. No, it's sort of, I'd ask what kind of random crap you want to hear, but that then needs purpose of rambling to give you time to ask questions. Yeah, so this is kind of some fun auxiliary parries. I mean, these aren't all of the auxiliary parries, and I might do another lesson on the ones I missed tonight. But these are the main ones, and you can kind of intuit the rest from these. Because remember, the numbering is hand positions. They're just hand positions from French foil, but I don't know. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the move to French foil hand positions, French was because they wanted to add more parries, or they wanted to have more parry variation. Because in the early 19th century systems where this hand position for cut 1 and this hand position is also for parry 1, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only really one parry that you can do for each line. All right, so let's have a look at the comments. So Kirk says, very épais. I keep the 6 parry close to my body. Yep, it's big and épais, and very close and very tiny. You can see that kind of why that thrust return is very intuitive. Jacob wants to know, so would you really be aiming with this one to sweep them a long way out of the center, or just keep in contact? Short answer to that is yes. I mean, my aim, I prefer to keep contact, and to keep contact so I've got a very strong opposition with my riposte, because I prefer that as kind of a way of maintaining safety. But honestly, if I knock them very far a long way off center, especially because this parry is often done quite ballistically, I'm not going to complain. And I think this is also why learning it with riposting with a cut 2 is better than learning parry 6 thrust, because the cut 2, if you throw your opponent very, very far away, the cut 2 can very, very easily be redirected into their sword arm, whereas the thrust, it can be, but it's not as easy, I guess. I guess also sort of the épée people, the people who primarily learned this in épée, will presumably also have the accuracy to just nail people in the sword arm, which in 19th century épée is basically what you do. It's basically sparring at the sword arm with then some additional bits. I'm quite fond of 19th century épée because I think it makes a lot more. It's the most sensible use of the dueling sword. You basically spar at the arm and then do some extra bits in the situations where it's safe to do. But yeah, look, you're probably going to have a preference for either keeping contact or expelling the sword from the center line to create an opening. But the reality is you kind of have to take what you can get. So yeah, it's not like it's one or the other. Yeah. Like said, perhaps because epee is very thrusty, any miss will be a miss. Yeah, look, certainly, certainly a very precise weapon. I think that's one of the things I found hardest about it is maintaining the precision, especially if I had a bad anxiety day. I was very nervous, sort of be all over the place. But one of the things I'm going to do one of these days, I've got a little ball and string that I'm going to hang up and just practice poking to build my accuracy up, because that's kind of a cool thing to do. Sabre, it is a cut which will still be heading towards your body. Yeah, that's fair. Like cuts do cover a much bigger sort of area, which is kind of why they're cool. Like you can sweep through an area of the cut, whereas a thrust is very kind of precise. Which I guess is also why sabre is a much more strongly defensive weapon, because you can cover yourself with cuts in a way that's much harder to do with thrusts. Jacob says, I imagine it also gets harder as you get more and more tired. Accuracy, I mean. Yes. The one caveat to that is if you're jittery from anxiety and you start to get tired, you tend to start to come down. So the impediment to accuracy from anxiety kind of fades faster than accuracy declines from fatigue. So you get this nice middle bit where you've got reasonably good accuracy. But yeah, fatigue does play a role, and epee is really, really energetic. Just especially because with a weapon that is not any weapon that's not particularly secure, and dueling swords like dueling epees they're nowhere near as secure as a saber or a stick. Being able to explode at your opponent, like move in and hit them really quickly becomes a lot more valuable. Which is also why that's why Olympic fencing is so explosive and they have such a big emphasis on fast movements that you don't necessarily see historically. So yeah, it also gets you tired a lot quicker, which I mean, from a fitness perspective, is really good. Right, so I think that's all the questions. I'm just going to pause. I'm just going to pause recording.